Good evening to you all, dear students. Today we will continue with the chapter chemical bonding. Okay, in that one, let us start regarding polar covalent bond. You all know covalent bond, isn't it? Covalent bond is made due to sharing of electrons. That is, equal distribution of electrons will be taking place from both the atoms which are forming the bond. If you consider polar covalent bond, this bond is generally formed between heteroatoms. This bond is generally formed between heteroatoms. Polar polarity of the bond is mainly seen here. Can you see this one? I will be writing you one example, H2. Okay, so if you break up the bond between two hydrogen atoms, it will give you two similar type of parts after breaking the bond. Hydrogen itself are formed, and this bond was formed due to contribution of one electron from each hydrogen atom. That is the reason why it is going to be considered as covalent bond. Okay, now let me give you an example, that is bond between hydrogen and fluoride. If you ionize this bond, here we will be seeing the charge separation, that is polar bonds are going to form here. If you ionize this bond, it will become H plus and it will become F minus. So positive charge and negative charge are obtained after breaking the bond of hydrogen fluoride. Now see this bond also, hydrogen and chloride. If you ionize hydrogen chloride bond, then also we will be getting H plus and Cl minus. Here also, in case of ammonia, NH3, if you break the bond, you will be having 3 H plus ions are obtained and nitrogen is obtained as a 2 parts. So we can define here polar covalent bond. It's a bond formed between two different atoms with different electronegativity, which leads to formation of partial charges. Electronegativity difference we can be seen here. Can you see the fluorine will be showing highest electronegativity in case of hydrogen fluoride, and Cl will be showing highest electronegativity in case of hydrogen chloride. Similarly for NH3 molecule, ammonia molecule also. Once if you break this bond, hydrogen fluoride bond, if you break it here, it is going to form H plus and F minus. In the sense, fluorine has grabbed the electrons of hydrogen also. The shared pair of electrons of hydrogen are also taken away from the hydrogen towards the fluorine atom. That capacity, that tendency of grabbing the shared pair of electrons towards itself is referred as electronegativity. Fluorine has high electronegativity than the hydrogen atom. Okay, due to partial charge molecule of here, partial charge, that we will be showing it as delta positive and it is said to be delta negative. Complete sharing is not taking place here, that due to which shared pair of electrons of hydrogen are partially taken away from the hydrogen towards the fluorine. That tendency itself is called as electronegativity. Due to partial charge molecule obtained here, that is delta positive, delta negative, is said to be dipole, and they possesses certain dipole moment. Dipole moment in the sense there will be a charge separation is seen. One atom will be showing slightly positive charge, whereas another atom will be showing slightly negative charge. If you consider exact definition for the dipole moment, it is said to be the product of magnitude of charge and distance. It is product of magnitude of charge and distance between two charges, that is positive charge and negative charge. This dipole moment generally represented as mu. Dipole moment is represented as mu, where it is referred as charge into distance. Charge into distance. Charge is represented as q. Distance is represented as d. Okay. So if you consider SI unit, SI unit for the dipole moment, it is coulomb per meter. Coulomb meter we can consider. This is said to be the SI unit. Then how to represent the dipole moment in a given molecule? This dipole moment of a given molecule is represented. So say for example, this is hydrogen fluoride. Hydrogen fluoride has got 6 electrons and 1 electron is shared for this hydrogen atom. It has formed hydrogen fluoride. Okay, so if you want to represent the dipole moment, can we show this is negatively charged, slightly negative, this is slightly positive? Then if you put the arrow in double-headed arrow in this direction, this is called as representation of dipole moment, is referred as representation of dipole moment. Like this we will be showing the dipole moment in a given molecule. Okay, then we can consider this dipole moment value, or the dipole moment is considered to be a vector quantity. So why does it is considered as vector quantity? What is vector quantity? Let us see now. If you consider dipole moment explanation for examples of molecules, say for example I have taken here water molecule. Water molecule, we all know it is somehow bent shape. We have hydrogen atom here, and there are two lone pair of electrons present on this oxygen atom, and these are represented in this fashion, like this. Due to this electronegativity, that is lone pair of electrons which are present, they will repel the hydrogen atoms away from the oxygen. So slightly they are going to be bent each other, and we can obtain bent shape or V shape for a water molecule. We can also say it as V shape. Now in terms of dipole moment, if you speak, this oxygen atom will be pulling the electrons. This is highly electronegative in nature, and this hydrogen atom is electropositive in nature, and the same condition for both. This oxygen atom will be pulling electrons towards itself of both the hydrogen atoms, and we can show here the negative terminal, that is negative end of particular atom or molecule is going to be shown with the arrow. From positive to negative we will be showing the arrow here, and that is referred as representation of dipole moment. This oxygen will be pulling electrons of hydrogen towards itself as well as this hydrogen itself, and the lone pair of electrons will be pulling at the upward direction. Oxygen pulls electrons of both hydrogen towards itself, whereas lone pair of electrons will be pulling upward direction. Hence, resultant dipole moment will be present, because this will be taking these electrons towards itself and these lone pair of electrons will be moving upwards. So resultant dipole moment will be seen particularly in water molecule. Some of the molecules are such that they will be showing resultant dipole moment as a 0. Can you see here? We have beryllium fluoride. So BeF2 we can quote it. BeF2. When you consider this molecule, fluorine will be taking the electrons away from the beryllium. Similarly, this fluorine also taking the electrons away from the beryllium atom. Then the two charges are going to be cancelled each other, and net dipole moment of BeF2 will become 0. So here in this case, net dipole moment will be 0 we can consider, and the molecule is said to be neutral. Likewise, can you say this one? Boron trichloride, BCl3. 3 electronegative chlorine atoms will be pulling the electrons towards themselves, and we will be showing this pull in this fashion. As all the 3 bonds are away from, they are pulling the electrons away from the boron, the net dipole moment also get cancelled each other, and the whole molecule will become neutral. Net dipole moment will be 0 in this case also. Okay, one good question can be asked for you in the examination, that is, among ammonia and NF3, which has high dipole moment value and why? Which has higher dipole moment and why? So if you want to explain this one, you need to draw the structure. NH3 I have shown here. Okay, in this NH3 ammonia, if you consider ammonia molecule, if you consider, charge is not going to be taken away from the nitrogen, rather it is being donated to the nitrogen atom. All the electrons are pulling towards the highly electronegative atom. This hydrogen also is providing, this hydrogen as well, this hydrogen, all together they are providing to the nitrogen. Hence this molecule will be showing more dipole moment value. More dipole moment value will be shown by ammonia than the NF3, because electrons are moving towards the nitrogen. That is, all are in one same direction, they are moving here. You can consider NF3 molecule also. Here in NF3 molecule, you see 3 fluorine atoms are taking electrons away from the highly electronegative atom, and they are moving the direction of highly electronegative atom. So once we see the movement such like this, that is electrons are moving from the nitrogen to fluorine, whole molecule will become unstable, and it shows definitely less magnetic moment. It shows less magnetic moment. If you compare NH3 and NF3, due to one directional movement of electrons towards the nitrogen atom, it is said to be more more dipole moment. It shows more dipole moment than the NF3. This question can be asked for 2 marks. So due to this polarizing power, that is I explained you, in case of different atoms are combined here for the bond formation, if you ionize the bond, polar parts, that is hydrogen will be having H plus, fluorine will be having F minus, that a type of charge separated molecules are said to be polar compounds. Before I explain you regarding the polarization property of molecules in detail, let me introduce or let me explain the thing that is covalent bond. Just now I have told you covalent bond is mainly obtained due to sharing of pair of electrons through a strong force of attraction between two atoms. As I explained just now regarding the hydrogen atom, each hydrogen will be providing one electron for the bond formation. Okay. Likewise, we have ionic bond here. How does ionic bond formation is going to take place? You can see here, sodium initially having 11 electron, it is going to lose 1 electron and it will become 2-8 configuration. That is, its octet is complete now. It will show 2 electrons in the inner shell and 8 electrons at the outer shell. Okay, so it is going to be considered as spherical and symmetrical electron cloud. It possesses spherical and symmetrical electron cloud. Like that, you can see here Cl minus ion. The electron which was lost by the sodium metal is going to accepted by the Cl ion. And after accepting, it will become Cl minus. Okay, so I'll show here 281 is the Na configuration. After losing 1 electron, it will become Na plus. The size is going to be decreased and it is spherical in nature. Now we have 7 electrons are there for particularly chlorine. So chlorine, which shows 7 electron, the 1 electron which was lost by sodium is going to be gained. This is a Cl configuration. Okay, 8 plus 2 10, 17 is the configuration. Once it accepts 1 electron, it will be forming 288, means its octet is going to be completed. So then 100% of ionic, otherwise it is not. When we introduce this 1 electron which was lost from the sodium metal, is going to be accepted by this one. Unless we introduce the electron lost by sodium to the Cl, then it will become ionic in nature. Otherwise it is not going to be ionic. So this kind of molecule which shows positive charge and negative charge, they will form certain kind of polarizability. What is that polarizability? What are the conditions for polarizability? I'll explain you one by one. Say for example, we have some cations. So these all polarizability property of the molecules are mainly explained by Fazan's rule. So what exactly Fazan's rule tells us and everything we will discuss here. So if you consider a cation, a small cation and a big anion, I repeat, when we have small cation, here only I have taken no sodium. After losing the electron, it will become cation. Initially size was big. When it has lost outer electron, it will become small in nature. And see this one, Cl will be having one electron less. The size was normal. Once it accepting one electron from the sodium, it will be showing big anion. Size of the anion is increasing. So when you consider cation which is small in size and the anion which size is big, then the cation and anion charge is more than the ionic compounds are not 100% ionic. Getting what I am telling you? Here this Na plus and Cl minus, after forming, they are not 100% ionic. In case of ionic compounds, certain kind of covalent character is introduced. I repeat my word. In case of ionic compounds, certain covalent character is introduced. Covalent character is introduced, and that is what is called as Fazan's rule. How does it is introduced? What are those things and all we will discuss here. See, think that it is small cation, okay, and think it is big anion. What do this cation? It will come closer to the anion and it is going to push the anion to the larger extent. What it does, it pushes this ion and this will become like this. Initially it was very free. When the cation is pushing this one, example of balloon I could tell you. If you consider two balloons, if you just come closer to, take them closer to each other, if you consider this as a small balloon, we can consider it as a cation also. What it does, it pushes the anion in this way. So can you see the change in the position, change in the structure? This ಫಿಂಗರ್ ಈ ಫಿಂಗರ್ ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತೈತಿ, ಈ ಫಿಂಗರ್ ಈ ಥರ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಒಳಗೆ ಹೊಂಟೈತಿ, ಹೌದಿಲ್ಲ, ಹಿಂಗೆ ಒಳಗೆ ಹೊಂಟೈತಿ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ penetration of cation towards the anion is referred as polarizing power. Okay, so due to that polarizability, 100% ionic character which was there initially is going to be altered by introducing certain kind of covalent character. So what exactly Fazan's rule tells us? Introduction of covalent character in the ionic compounds is referred as Fazan's rule. So for Fazan's rules to be holds good, what should be the nature for cation and what should be the nature for anion, we have to understand. See, conditions for covalent character in an ionic compound. What is Fazan's rule? We are going to introduce the covalent character in the ionic compounds, and for that we have to follow certain conditions. What are those conditions? So conditions for covalent character in an ionic compound, if we consider 90, that is covalent character in ionic compound, it should be like 90% of covalent character, then you will be having 10% of ionic character. See, I'll explain it with an example. If you consider small cation and if you consider large anion, cation must be very small and anion must be very large. They will be showing more charge difference, that is small cation positively charged, large anion negatively charged. Both together they will combine each other and they will be considered as no more 100% ionic, because certain kind of covalent character is introduced here. So let us see further. Now you can see here I have explained the term polarizing power. The cation nucleus, cation will be having the nucleus polarizing in the sense that complete distortion of set of electron cloud. See here, this is positively charged nucleus, this is electron cloud, this is anion. When cation is introduced, its shape is going to be changed like this, it will become like this. Okay, this change in the position or the shape is mainly due to change in the electron cloud. This is the nucleus, electron cloud is going to be changing with the introduction of cation to the anion. Getting what I am telling you? So cation nucleus we have here and we have anion nucleus. When they come to close to each other, they will start repelling. Okay, smaller the cation, it will have high polarizing which distorts electron cloud of anion. In order to anion's electron cloud is going to be disturbed, we must have to have smaller cation. This is the first condition for the Fazan's rule. See here, I have lithium, I have Na plus and I have K plus. So which one will be having the smallest size out of these three? Lithium will be coming first, because hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, then comes sodium, then comes potassium and so on. If you consider lithium, Li plus, it has lost one electron here. Li plus is having a smallest size, which shows highest polarizing power, and more will be the covalent character is introduced. Yet the molecule is ionic in nature. Due to smallest size of this lithium, Li plus, it will shows highest introduction of covalent character in the ionic compounds. So that is it. Next, see here, let us talk about anionic polarizability. This is all about the cationic polarizability we have seen. With respect to anion, if you speak, this is nothing but anionic polarizability is ability to get polarized. To what extent it is going to allow the cation to push the electron cloud of anion. That capacity is itself referred as ability to get polarized itself. So if you consider, as I told you, ball and balloon example. Okay, ball is a solid and it is having heavy mass and it is a small in size. Small cricket ball ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊರಿ, ಇದು ಈ ಕಡೆದು ಏನಿದೆ cricket ball, cation. This is balloon. Balloon will be filled with the air. This cricket ball can easily push this electron very easily. Electron cloud ಇದ್ರದ್ದು ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಡಿಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತೈತಿ. I will show it with a balloons in the next class. I will explain that one. I don't have balloon right now. If I show ball and balloon model to you, it will be very clear. No, really, ball example and balloon example, if we consider, this is considered to be a small ball, cationic part. This is nucleus. What it does, this nucleus of cation pulls the electron cloud of anion. See, and particularly an example, if we consider, with this we can say higher the size of the anion, higher will be the polarizability. Anion in the size, compulsorily it should be more. Cation size, always it should be less. then only polarizing power of cation is said to be highest, as well as polarizing power of anion is said to be highest. In order to introduce a covalent character to the anionic covalent character to the ionic compounds. Okay, so now next we will move here. I have concluded here with this point. So more the charge of the cation and anion, higher the charge on anion and cation, they will be attract each other, and higher will be the polarizability. It is very simple. See here, smaller the size of the cation and higher the size of anion, more will be the attraction towards between two, and more will be the polarizing power. Once the polarizing power is more here, according to Fazan's rule, this kind of compounds are not 100% ionic. In this case, certain kind of covalent character is introduced. It is also ready to give certain extent of electron cloud. It is also going to pull the, or it is going to push the electron cloud of this one. Once that is happening here, we cannot consider those molecules 100% ionic, but rather we can say, according to Fazan's rule, covalent character is introduced. Covalent character is introduced. Okay, so this is all about the Fazan's rule we have discussed. Getting or no? Now, relation of covalent character and boiling point. How does they are related to each other? So, if you consider covalent character is more, we can say that melting point and boiling point are very less. Melting point and boiling point will become very less. Say for example, I have here lithium chloride and sodium chloride. So which one is showing covalent character here? We have seen lithium is the smallest cation, Cl is the largest anion. So it will be having more covalent character. So if you consider difference between these two, melting point, boiling point will be very less. So melting point, boiling point is very less for these kind of compounds, whereas melting point and boiling point will be more for this NaCl. We all know covalent character is strongest due to strong force of attraction between two atoms. But if you consider comparison between these two, sodium chloride is more ionic than the lithium chloride. Lithium chloride is showing certain extent of covalent character. Higher the covalent character, melting point, boiling point will be less for these, whereas NaCl will be showing more melting point, boiling point values. So next, if you consider inert gas configuration, those compounds also show certain kind of stability. So what is that we will discuss here. So inert gas configuration, in this case they are completely filled. We know that neon, helium, we know helium is duplet complete. Neon, it is octet complete. All the halogen atoms or halogen gases will be showing their octet complete. Okay, so now these are said to be completely filled or octet complete compounds. Now we also have certain compounds such that they are pseudo inert gases configuration. They show pseudo inert gas configuration. I request you once again, you have to remember the electronic configuration up to 40 elements for your first PUC, and that you will be learning, and I will be teaching you regarding that one in detail in the chapter periodic classification and properties of elements. Say for example, if you consider copper plus, in this case you will be having the configuration as 4s2, 3p6 and 3d10. When this is the case, here also we can see D10 it is coming in the sense its octet is complete. 4s2 it shows 8 electrons together if you consider, then D it is completely filled. It is also considered to be similar, it is somehow similar that we can consider here its octet is complete, Cu plus octet is complete. Okay, but in fact if you see when you write the configuration here, its octet is not at all completed here. Okay, so then that time, that condition we can consider as these are said to be pseudo inert gas configuration elements shows in the form of ions they will be converted, they are considered as pseudo inert gas configuration elements. Okay, so how does they will be showing shielding effect in case of their formation of ionic compounds, formation of covalent compounds, we need to understand. Before I start and explain these things, I must have to tell you regarding shielding effect. So that we will do now.